Hi, it's Dr. Ann Zink. Today's November 20th and providing a brief update with where we're at with COVID in the state of Alaska. Across the state, we continue to be in the red zone with greater than 10 cases per 100,000. The last week, we've had a 28% increase week over week, and currently our hospital capacity remains slightly strained. Currently, we have about 13% of all patients who are in the hospital are there because of COVID. Unfortunately, yesterday we did have our 100th Alaskan who's passed away from COVID. I'm always reminded that behind each one of these numbers is a person, a family, their friends, and a story, and thinking about them at this time of loss. We continue to see quite a bit of testing in the state. However, our percent positivity still remains high, just about 8%, but it's starting to plateau and hope to drive that down into the 2 to 5% range. We continue to see COVID primarily spreading between small, close contacts when people let their guard down. I found this graph helpful where it shows how contagious you are compared to how sick you feel. And I think that's one of the really hard things about COVID is that you can really spread the virus from person to person before you feel ill. And as a result, it can be hard to know when to stay home. And that's why we ask people to mask and stay distanced to minimize that spread, even if they don't feel like they're sick. We encourage everyone to download our testing, quarantining, and isolation sheet so you know what to do and can be prepared in case you or a loved one test positive for COVID-19. I want to emphasize the fact that it isn't a small group of people who is at risk for COVID. While most people do very well and have mild symptoms, many people can get very sick, require hospitalization, and pass away. About 71% of all Alaskans are either over 65 and or have one of the high-risk groups for COVID-19. So this looks at Alaska-specific data, and you can see that 67% of Alaskans have one or more high-risk conditions for severe COVID-19 illness. While there's been a lot of frustration, a lot of increasing numbers across the state, I really want to emphasize the positive that's happening. COVID vaccine planning is well underway. And today, both Pfizer as well as Moderna, two vaccine companies that are submitting information submitted to the federal government FDA for what's called EUA approval. It's super exciting to see the very promising data that's coming out. And while it will be very limited vaccine initially, we do expect vaccine before the end of the year if everything looks good from their data, which is being submitted both to an independent review panel as well as the federal government today. This is a hard time as this is the time that we gather and get together. And I want to make sure that families stay connected and you stay connected to your loved ones. But being in indoor spaces without a mask and not being distant is incredibly high risk right now. So find ways to be thankful and to be connected without being in the same indoor physical space with everyone throughout this holiday season. And encourage people to take a look at the new CDC guidance to consider Thanksgiving. I also want people to have some additional information about traveling to Alaska. So starting the 21st, tomorrow, there's additional restrictions for traveling in and out of the state of Alaska, requiring a test prior as well as recommending a test after travel. You can find more information on our website. The other thing I want to emphasize is the importance of staying healthy, both mentally and physically this winter. So take a look at our Strong and Safe Resiliency campaign and make sure that you're getting outside, taking care of each other. But more than anything, mask up, spread out, and keep your groups small. We have control over this virus and we have much hope on the horizon. So take care of yourself and take care of your community. And please consider texting COVID to the number you see on the screen, 907-269-0344, to participate in our Winter 2020 survey to better understand how COVID-19 has been impacting families across the state of Alaska. I'm incredibly grateful for all of Alaskans' ingenuity, compassion, and all the creativity that we've seen throughout this response. COVID's been hard on all of us. And so as we think about Thanksgiving, the things that we are grateful for, I'm incredibly grateful for you, all of the Alaskans, finding ways to respond in these difficult times. And just like the sun, things will get better. This too will pass, but together we'll get through it. Thank you.